Everyone. We'll start with a new topic today, and we'll take today bit more difficult question, and we'll try to see how to solve that logical program. So today's session, we'll name it as logical programming session 5. Session 5. So let's see what is the problem statement. So the question is alphanumeric sorting. That means we have to do some sort of sorting. So let's understand the question. So as per the last session, I told you, right, the solution is inside the question itself. If you understand the question properly, if you try to put that question bigger problem into smaller problems, create the algorithm or solution, your problem gets solved 70%. The only remaining 30% is to write that problem in a particular language, either Java, C++. So this is a very interesting question which we'll be solving. So there is a text of words and number. We have to sort them in an ascending order and print them in a manner that the word is followed by a number. So there will be a string or text, a combination of number and words. We have to first sort them in ascending order and then create an output string where words will be followed by a number. Now the words can be in uppercase and lowercase in an input string. You have to convert them into a lowercase. So the word in an input string might contain uppercase or lowercase, but when you print the output string or text where word will be followed by a number, the words will be in a lowercase. And then we have a so now let's see what is the print. So there will be a text where the words, each text in which the words are at odd position and numbers are at even position, and they are delimited by space. So that means the input string to the program will have words at odd position. So one, third, fifth, there will be a word which can have an uppercase. The number will be on even position, second, fourth, sixth, and they will be separated by the space. That's it. Now we have to create a final string which will have numbers and words in ascending order, and every word will be followed by a number. That's the output. Obviously, the output string. So here the constraint. So the constraint means the test cases, the validation which we have to take care while writing the program. The text should start with word. So if there's a number, we cannot have that. The count of words and a count of numbers should be same. So when an input string comes, we have to check how many words are there and how many numbers are there. Duplicate elements has to be resolved. They should not be allowed. So if there is a word called Priyang and there's another word called Priyang, then the string is not valid. So the error message should come. So this word at this position is the same as that word at that position. Now, even that applies for numbers also. So there cannot be two numbers having a same number in a string. Now, word should be printed in lowercase. That's an output test case they have told, and there is no special character allowed. So if you see this entire problem statement, if you understand the situation properly, you will get the solution. You have to break down. So the first breakdown is the string which you're gonna get will be spaced with delimited space. So first we have to convert that entire string into an array of elements where the elements will have text and numbers. That's the first thing. Now we have to first check those array elements on odd position what we have and on even position what we have. If odd position we have words, it's valid. If there is a word on any of the even position, so on second, fourth, we'll create an error statement saying there is a mismatch of the input. The input which has been provided is not as per the validation. Same thing goes for the number. So now we are trying to create some small tasks. So right now what I'll do, I'll create an array from a delimited space. I'll convert them, and then obviously it will be an array of string because I have to make sure that numbers are also considered as string only. And then we'll start taking the position. I equal to 0 till I less than the array limit, because we have converted a string into an array by delimited space. And then we'll see. Now you're challenging I equal to 0. So let's take an example what they have given. And so it says this is a input, right? And this is output they expect. So let's see whether I can paste it. So basically the input says Sagar 35, Sanjay 12. Okay. So I'll say the input string is Sagar. And Sagar 35, Sanjay 12. So let's say Sagar 35, Sanjay 12. So the array will contain Sagar 35, S in small Sanjay, and 12. So this is the first step. I've converted the entire string, and the output will be what? The expected output is 12, right? So as per this 12, the output will be 12, Sagar in small, your G comes before N, 35, and Sanjay. We are taking a small string, so this is what is an output. Now here the position of array will be what? This is a string 0, 1, 2, 3. This is an array. So we have converted this string into an array, right? On a 0th place we have Sagar. So now if you see array, when we start from 0, so this becomes even. So in our programming logic, we'll say even the word should be on even place and the number should be on odd place. As per the logic, if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, the numbers are on even, the words are on odd, right? So if I say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, that's the input statement. So internally, we'll reverse it, okay? Or either you can start with I equal to 0, I less than equal to the length of element, then also it's fine, then you can compare. But I'm taking 0, so you have to understand sometimes the code which is written might have some tweaking. So this happens when how you write the code. So if I'm taking I equal to 0 as index, then my entire validation gets reversed programmatically. So on my even position, I have words, should have words, and on my odd position, I should have. If I take an index as 1, array index 2, 3, 4 in my code saying I equal to 1, I less than equal to length, then the condition remains the same. The number become odd, the words become on the odd. So right now what I'll do, first step is to check whether I have numbers on the right position. So first thing, I have to split this entire big array into two small arrays. So I'll just create a traversing loop, right? So I'll create a loop. I equal to 0 to 4. And every language have a practice of an integer. So in Java, I can use integer dot parse int, and I can say array of I, element at I. So what happens here, if it's a 0th position, which is a valid position on, okay, so every time it won't parse, right, it will give me an exception. So there will be a try catch, because 100% this statement will not process, because Sagar is not an integer. It will give you an exception. 35 is an integer. It will process. So on an I, so when there's an exception, okay, I'll say try catch. Try catch basically number exception. I know that there will be a number exception coming in with this. So if the position of I mod not equal to 0, basically when I say mod, it's a remainder. So I have to check odd and even. So ideally, if if I is on 0th position and equal to 0, that means the exception came and I is at an even position. I'll add word index. I'll fill up my word. So I'll be splitting this entire array into two arrays. Okay. And else I'll create a error statement saying that there is an error. Shoot to the output saying the element on ith place is not a word, it's an integer because it's not a mod 2. So if it's 0 and I will add into it, if it's not a 0, if it's an odd position, if I'm getting a word, that means it's a wrong, right? Because I cannot have word on a first element of the array or third element of the array. It has to be on 0th, second, fourth, sixth, even position. Similarly, if integer comes and if I mod of 2 is equal to 0 and it's an integer, I'll create an error saying boss, it's a wrong position, right? Else I'll pull up. So at this end of this for loop, what I'm achieving is I'm trying to create two arrays. One is words, which will have Sagar and Sanjay, okay, and number array, which will have 35 and 12. If my input was like instead of Sagar, it was 2. So instead of Sagar, it was 2. So suppose, so I equal to 0, try, integer are passing. So this statement would have got executed. I would have written if condition, if I mod of 2 is equal to 0, means on my even position, I'm getting a number. I would have thrown an error because as per my condition on the even position, I should have words, and in else I would have fill up the word array, right? So the number array gets created accordingly. So else, so if this happens, I would have shown an error. Else I would have fill up my number array. So I would have got my numbers, right? So at end of this loop, what I'm getting is two arrays. Now third thing, I will check the length of word dot length. I'm just saying should be equal to number dot length. The both the sub arrays which we created should have equal length. Else there is an error because it says the question says count of words and numbers should be same. So here we are checking that. Now we have to run another loop which says for duplicate. Obviously there are a lot of language we can check duplicate element in languages, but if you don't have, then we can have a small I equal to 0 less than till 2 because it's equal length, right? Both are of equal length now. And then j equal to. Here what we can do, like for I, element at I, is it equal to element at j, provided and I is not equal to 0, because 0th element will be equal to 0th element, right? Yeah, here we are saying j equal to 0. So if I say word of I and word of j, and I and j are both 0, they will be equal only, right? Because we are referring to the Sagar only, right? So, and before that, they say it should be a lowercase. So you can always create a lowercase array by just putting lowercase, right? Function, and then you can convert them. So when only when there's a I and j are not same. So you can have one condition for words, and you can say if it's equal to it's an error, you can break the for loop and you can generate the error statement saying word at this position is equal to a word at that position. Now what is the position? So I into, so I is on 0, 1, 2. So here we have to say 1. So we can say in 2 times, 2 into 0 is 0, right? Plus 1. So Sagar at 1 position is same as Sagar at third position. If they have Sagar. So Sagar is on second position, right? So I equal to 0, I equal to 1, I equal to 2, right? So J equal to 2. So you can say I 2 in Sagar on first position, right? Because at the end you will say first, second, third, right? So 2 into I plus 1 is same as 2 into J plus 1. So basically 2 into minus 1, sorry. So 2 into 2, 4, 4 minus 1, no 4. Here you won't say plus. Only plus will happen at the I level, right? So something like we can do this. So once you get this done, that means your validation is done. So you have array without any, then you convert them into smaller case. So at end, so once you are sure that this condition is also done, so you have Sagar in small, you have Sanjay in small, right? In an array. In number, you have number what you have is 35 and 12. Then you can use to check. You can use any pattern to check whether there is any special character like at the rate, exclamation mark. And once that is done, you have to just sort this. So you can sort by calling sort function. Every language has a sort function. So Sagar and Sanjay will be a sorted array in ascending. And for word numbers, it will be 12 and 35. So you got your array. Now you can create a string. You can run a function array for loop, and you can start building a string, right? Which will concatenate this. So as per the question, what is the first parameter we have? A lowercase, no space, count or duplicate number, text starts with word. So right now you have to start text with word. So you, in a for loop, what you can do is you can put word I plus space plus number I. And this can be string plus, right? So you are concatenating string, right? A string is blank. You are adding that string with the, so it depends upon language you can put. So this is how you have created. So this is same entire problem looks difficult on a first go, but when you understand the problem and divide that problem into small tasks and start creating that logic, you'll first find we have divided an array into a smaller array. We have checked whether the position of the words and numbers are proper. If in the same course we have generated two arrays out of one array of numbers and words, then we check whether length is same. If not, then we throw an error. Then we check for duplicate elements by writing a code in two for loops where we say I not equal to j, and then we created the checking. Then we see a pattern for your regression in the you have the patterns where you can check particular characters are part of your array or not. Then you do sorting. So here you have done sorting in ascending, depending upon the logic whatever you want to use. There are a lot of programming language which have a sort command, Java, .NET. You don't need to write bubble sort or any quick sort. Once you get the sorted element, then you start creating a string with word and number followed in a for loop. So obviously this will be in a for loop, I equal to 0 till I less than 2, right? So let's see how to write a code, and then we'll, so I've already written the code for this. So we'll go through this code with the same algorithm, and that will be end of the session. So let's see. So we got this string, input string, Sagar 35. We printed a string. So this string got printed here, right? Then I have created an array. This is a master array which convert this string into a, and split by delimited, right? So spaces were created. So I've printed an array of income. So it was array 6. Now what I did, I created an array of string which I named as words with the half the length of the master array, because we have been given a condition that an array will have a string, output string will have equal number of words. And so obviously if I have an array of 16 elements, there will be an equal number of 8 elements of words and 8 elements of. So I've divided the length of an array of words string. I named that words and I've created an array of numbers, array of integers, which is numbers. I've created two variables of index, a common variable for an error and an error message. So whenever an error flag is true, I'll break my algorithm, I'll stop my program, and I'll print the message whatever, because there are plenty of error checks or validation where we have to maintain. So when there you have multiple error messages can come in multiple places, we always create a common boolean which trigger whether the error is there or not, and then based on that error is true, we'll print whatever message is been there. So first, what we do is, first and foremost checking is whether the elements are same or not. So if if an array, number of elements in an array is not an even number, that means it doesn't have equal numbers of elements. Odd number, so here what we have done, we have just checked the length of an array, the master array. If it's not divided by 0, if it's not divided by 2, so if mod of 2 means there is no remainder, if there is a remainder coming in, we say does not have equal number of numbers, and we just create this true, and then there will be a message getting print. If error is true, you just print the error message. Whatever the error message, it will get print. So this is a structure we have created. If length is proper, then we'll start with new validation. So first thing first, as we decided, right, we'll divide the master array into two smaller arrays of word and a number. And also we have to check whether number and word comes on a right place. Now here we have started with index of an array from 0. So here the position change. This is 0, this is 1. So internally in my program, my words becomes odd position and my words become at odd 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, and my numbers becomes on a even position. So index with Z, does the word comes at an even position of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it comes on. So here sometimes why I have taken 0 as specific, because here when you read it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you might see a code and you might say, okay, the problem statement here and error is here. So always it's better to have a comment. So here we are starting index of an array with 0. Thus words comes at an even position. If it's 0, it's 0, right? So we have to write a validation which is reverse than the expectation. So what we have done, we are checking for the position and the element. So try catch we have put, and we are creating an integer. So if at 0th position, if I get an integer, if at 0th position, if I get an integer, so if this was true, then this would have gone there. If 0 divided by 2 not equal to 0, no, it's an even position, so it will come here. So error is true. Word position at I. So word, what is the position at I? So at I position is not a valid word, right? So there's a number basically. If this throws an error, like in this case, Sagar at 0th position will throw an error because it's on an integer, so it will come here. So you will check. Oh, I mod of 2, 0 mod of 2 is equal to 0. So it will add word inside it. So your word array gets created. If it was a number, then you would have got an error saying, boss, your word, so it's a word, but word is coming on an odd place. So it's not right. Right? So here, if I equal to 1, so it's 35. It's right. So 1 divided by 2 is not equal to 0. Agree. So number array gets created. So this for loop will create two sub arrays, one with number of words, array of words, and one with array of numbers. Provided validation whether the number and word are at a right position. As per the question, Sagar, Sanjay should come in odd position, but we have started index of array with 0, they come in even position, and numbers were supposed to come on even position, which is in an input string, but programmatically they'll come in an odd position. So after this particular try catch, and if everything goes fine without an error, right? If this for loop runs completely, then we check. If error is false, basically there is no error, then we go for checking of next use case, whether the length of both the arrays are same or not. So if word length and numbers length is not same, we again print array does not have equal count. So again, your error is true and message has been put. If this is not there, we check. Now we know that both the arrays have equal number. Now we have to check for duplicate. So we run two for loop, I equal to 0, word dot length. If now whether you have a condition of word dot length or numbers dot length doesn't have any issue, right? And what condition we put is word dot lowercase obviously equal to word dot lowercase I and j position. And if there's I equal to in not so if the words are same, if you found Sagar at another position also, and they are not at the same index, then we'll say word at is position at I into 2. So if Sagar was here and here, so I into 0 is 0, right? Its position at I is 0 is same as position at j equal to 2. So j is what? 0. So suppose Sagar and Sagar. So Sagar was here and Sagar was here also. Or I would say here, 0, 1, 2. So 2 into 2, right, is same as third position. Same thing goes with number. If number at I is, so this loop will go for each, so one array will be traversed multiple times, right? To check there is no number and word duplicate. At the end of this, and if you get error message true, they break. The for loop gets break, right? And then it comes here. So if a for loop gets break, so if there is error, it breaks. If there is no error, we'll go for another. So now we check if at all this for loop, we are checking, right? We are breaking the inner for loop, right? But once we get out of the inner for loop, we check. If error is true, we again break the outer for loop. But if not, then we'll check for the same word at the same position, whether it contains any special character or not. So there is something called A. Suppose you don't want the A to Z. This is a, you can say a pattern which you can use as pattern.matcher, and you will check whether the word at this contains any special character or not. If match is found, you say, hey, mouse, there is a special character at this. So this keeps on happening as a bigger loop till you get error equal to true. If there is no error, this entire for loop will get done. And now you have two arrays of word and numbers which are equal in length, have passed all the validation, and then you are printing those counts. So, okay. Now you have to make sure the words are in smaller case. So we run a for loop where convert all the words element into a smaller case. Now we got arrays. Now we need to merge as per the rule. So we first sort them array in ascending order. The words get sorted, and then we create a string and we start appending it. So first word followed by space, then number, and then space, and then immediately we get this final string. So this is how we write the code. Okay. So I'm just opening up the code for everyone to again look at it. So once you understand the problem, solution is easy. You have to break down into multiple, check each test cases step by step, and then you will get your answer. So if you see the statement, it looks complicated. If you see this code, looks complicated. But when you break it down step by step, convert them into small code, see the output regularly, you will come to know that the problem was solved easily. Thank you guys. We'll have much more problem solving sessions. So next time we'll see another complicated question like this. Thank you guys.